Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast. It is created for all signs. It is a broad spectrum reading where I speak in broad terms. So if it fits in your life, by all means, use it. If it doesn't, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. You just might be working on something different at this time. This reading is originally created for Tuesday, the 4th of October. It is not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a different date and it applies or fits in your situation, by all means, utilize the reading. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath my reading. Any of the daily readings. In there is some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about, what decks I'm using, how to follow me on social media and contact me for a private reading. Also, easy ways to support the channel. Some of those ways are, please hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, and share the video out with your friends and people that you think that might like my content. And then leave me a question or comment so that I know that you're here. So let's get into these cards and see what's going on. What do they want us to know for the 4th? And our card for today is the same card that we had yesterday. It's the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands to me is about, smarter, not harder, really. It's about having taken the lessons that we've learned and utilizing those lessons through adversity to strengthen ourselves, to complete cycles, to become more whole in a way, right? To honor who we are, what we know, what we've learned. Oftentimes the 9 of Wands is depicted through hardship, right? Usually it's a gentleman with a bandaged head standing in front of his wands like he's a fighter back from the war. And although he's survived it, he's back and he's able to talk about it. He's able to sort of create beyond it or fortify himself in a way that makes him smarter or more, present and aware, more able to protect himself from maybe previous mistakes or previous experiences. To me, this card is kind of like a nothing is lost on us moment, right? In essence, whatever we have experienced, we put that experience, although maybe hard won, we put that experience to good use. We utilize that experience. Underpinning this is the 7 of Wands. So it's a lot of fire energy during Libra air season, right? And this fire is that representation of the spirit. So, and 7 of Wands is about sort of defending one's position or understanding one's position. I really feel like these cards are telling us that there's a deeper truth within us that we need to stand tall in, that we need to not only protect and maybe fortify, but also really adopt and honor and come from, She feels like she is standing there facing us in a very present moment way, looking at the situation as it is in her truth, right? There's a little bit of a guard up, so there might be a little bit of a reluctance going on or a little bit of a weariness that wants us to, I don't know, I get the sense that when I look at her that she maybe wants to pull back or stay in her own corner in a way. Access your own sort of truth, your own wisdom, your own experience from the past, right? That educates you or makes you smarter and wiser. But I want to also say that don't allow the past to sort of dictate your now. Does that make sense? Because we have the newness of this star at her crown chakra. And to me, there's a peace in the star. Stars always represent that because of the star card. But also, I just feels like, although she has passed one experience, there's something new she's learning. That star above her crown really it drew my attention yesterday and it's drawing my attention today. There's there's something that we can stand strong in and aware in and familiar with, but also be present enough and own who we are enough that we can also be open to new, I don't know, possibilities, outcomes, that sort of a thing. Remember, the grounding stone this week is miracle. And to me, miracle means, positive, somewhat impossible seeming changes that take place outside of our control. And so remember that miracles do abound and that changes can happen. That, if old wounds or old experiences of the past are surfacing for us, utilize them in such a way that protects us, makes us smarter, makes us more solid, and offers us some sense of like completion or wholeness, right? Because that would also be the 9 aspect of the 9 of Wands. Is like, although we've been through what we've been through, we're, a bit wiser for having gone through it. So it wasn't wasted, right? It's not lost on us. And then the 7 of Wands also offers a very dynamic, action-oriented protection energy. And I'm not saying that anything negative is going to happen to us, but we may need to stand strong in who we are and what we are. Especially with the influence of the moon coming in the midweek, right? We'll be starting to feel some of that, the moon card from the Sunday reading. That could mean emotional confusion and things like that. And so that might be why these steadfast sort of stand in who you are, defend your position kind of spirit cards are coming in, right? To kind of keep us balanced as we transfer or move through some I don't know, I want to say interesting situations. We had that deal card, the goat card for the week. And so there's stuff shifting, there's stuff changing or transforming. It may not be our stuff though. That's the thing about the 7 and the 9. It almost feels like the cards are telling me to hold our position, to hold our truth, to remain complete and whole, and to use our intelligence from maybe past experiences to indicate how we stand. Both of the cards too had these singular ladies standing here staring at us. So it feels to me like we're holding position and watching and waiting for maybe miracles or new outcomes to transform whatever it is that we're looking at or dealing with or thinking about. Now let's look at the Wild Mystic Oracle card. So this is sacred. I love it. It's a starfish. And again, we have this star up here. So that's the first thing that pops in my mind is we have the star up here and we have the starfish here. I think that there's a truth that is within us, but I also think that I don't know if this starfish is the miracle, right? Or the new beginning or the peace that comes after. The star oftentimes represents the peace that comes after the tower. There should be a peace within us at a deep spiritual level as to who we are, what we know, and what we're capable of handling. We should hold sacred, obviously, and we should allow it to sort of guide us through whatever transitions or situations that might be going on around us. I don't necessarily get a negative vibe from these cards. It's just kind of like holding or towing the line for a moment while everything, that deal card says to me that things might be getting rearranged this week. So allow them to be rearranged. Let's see what Starfish Sacred says. This card represents the sacred geometry and symmetry of nature. From the fractals of succulent plants to the Fibonacci seed spirals on the head of a sunflower, many natural forms correspond to mathematical and geometric formulas. Throughout history, philosophers and even scientists and mathematicians have ascribed the remarkable symmetry and geometry of the natural world to a higher power. This is reflected in the architectural symmetry of places of worship, ancient temples, and spiritual artwork. This card tells you to look for the sacred in the mundane and the supernatural in the natural. When this card comes into a reading, and it's funny, it's like look for the supernatural and the natural, or the sacred in the mundane. Look for the miracles this week, guys, because they exist. When this card comes into a reading, it is a reminder that we are all unified, similar and akin to one another. It is a symbol of our connection to each other as well as to the divine. Whatever the divine might mean to you, this card signifies our links and bonds with one another through not only our similarities but also our differences. This card might be asking you to rise above a situation or seek enlightenment. And that's what I mean by rise above a situation. It's like kind of toe the line, hold true to what you know to be true. But I don't get a feeling that we're supposed to get in there and like affect it too much. Does that make sense? Or push our agenda? Shadow reading. The shadow reading of this card may warn us that we have become preoccupied with the things that separate us from other people. We have focused so much on our differences that we have forgotten our connections. Reconciliation with others or with the parts of yourself that have fractured might be necessary. The element is water. The flora is walnut, chervil, frankincense, sunflower, lily, and buttercup. The stones are amethyst, ametrine, celestite, and brown jasper. Spell work is communication with divine energy, meditating on the self, invocation work, and angel magic. So I'm not mad that the angel magic is here, right? Because that kind of is also miracle stuff. That's the place where miracles happen too. I really do get this feeling that this is about staying true to ourselves in a situation. I get a feeling like when I look at her, she's strong in who she is and what she knows. She's open to new possibilities in the sacred of that. But she's not necessarily like pushing. Does this make sense? I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. It's not about getting in there and rearranging it so that it's to our liking. It's about like understanding what our liking is and then holding true to that and then allowing things to maybe reconnect or change, allow the deal to change, allow things to shift in a way that either aligns with us or that we can then see new opportunities to align within it. And that is this star, this connection to the supernatural, this connection that we have. Now, let me go to the clarifiers. First out is the Four of Pentacles. Not the most fluid of energies, kind of a bit of a resistance energy. And it's interesting to me because this Nine of Wands feels like she's holding back a little bit too behind her last wand that she's holding. The Four of Pentacles can oftentimes be fear-based. I don't get a fear from this, but it is like, it feels like withdrawn energy or holding back, not necessarily giving forth everything that you have. There's like sort of a protection thing that's happening from both sides of the coin. This guy's hiding behind his pentacle. She's hiding behind her wand. Like we might find ourselves in a situation where we're at opposite corners of the situation, feeling unable to necessarily work within it. But I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I feel like this is about giving it maybe time and space and honoring the sacred of it and trusting that this too shall pass or this will transform. Okay, then we have the Two of Swords. And then let's see what the last card, the 10 Swords. I'm going to be honest. These clarifiers don't feel great. Yesterday's clarifiers kind of saved the reading for me. Now it feels like something's going backwards. It feels like someone or something is too caught up in the thoughts of how it maybe should be or needs to be, or, you know, maybe outdated thoughts. There's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of worry. There's a little bit of, an inability to interact in a free and easy manner. I almost get a sense that if some of you are dealing with a particular person or situation, this situation today is not going to give us what we need. Let's just say that. In whatever form it may take. The Four of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, those are both very guarded cards. Both of their chests are crossed and covered. And then the 10 of Swords is kind of like, you know, we've seen that in the last few clarifiers. It's like there's a release of thought here, a completion of thought or how we're communicating. Something needs to kind of, I almost want to say be reconfigured or changed. And I don't know why these three clarifiers don't feel like us. They feel like they are what we are dealing with. And that's why I feel like this Nine of Wands with the Seven of Wands is telling me to be patient, to stand in your truth, understand from your previous like sort of wisdom that whatever is going on, because like these energies, these clarifier energies feel somewhat like stopped or blocked or, cut off to a degree. So if some of you are feeling this right now, like a situation's not allowing you to move forward, or a relationship's not allowing you to move forward, or a partner is withdrawing for some reason and pulling back and shutting off, that's what this is about. I don't think that it's a bad thing. I think that it's something that's going to require us to, again, stand in the truth of this wand for ourselves and kind of not necessarily adjust that truth, but patiently wait within that truth to see what transpires, right? There's something going on with the Miracles stone and the Sacred stone that makes me feel like, and also the deal card that we saw in the Sunday reading, because underpinning this is that goat energy deal, which was giving me devil vibes. There's something that's being released, let go of, transformed, that is either for you or for another person quite hard. It's a challenge. And right now they're facing the challenge. Right now they're feeling the challenge, or the situation is feeling the pressure of the challenge. I don't feel like with that Nine of Wands, we're feeling it, but we're not necessarily allowing it to affect us. Does that make sense? I feel like she's calmly sort of standing at the sidelines, kind of waiting for the information to come. And I can't tell if that information, let's see what the grounding stone is. Okay, embrace. So the grounding stone, again, and this is also fiery energy to me, right? With that redness in there. And then the white to me brings in that sort of, angelic magic that we hear in sacred. That white swirl that's in the stone reminds us that miracles do abound, that spirit is working, even if we don't feel like the situation is working for us right now because of these clarifiers. I think that there's an emphasis here on embracing where we're at, who we are, what we know, our truth, allowing the situation to be what it is for the moment, and being patient, embracing it as it is, and waiting, not waiting, but embracing the idea of, who we are and what we know, but also the idea of miracles or shifts and changes transpiring. Mercury's just come out of retrograde at this point, because I'm still pre-filming these. So, and sometimes I'll say this, the readings get a little bit wonkier as I go further out, because, to read further out energy, it gets a little bit harder to predict, because so much can transpire and change through choice and free will between now and the point that we're at. And we're still, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 6 days. I'm reading this 6 days ahead of schedule. So almost a week ahead of schedule. I'm actually going to try and finish out these readings for the entirety of the week, because I don't want to come back and pick up the week, 5 or 6 days after having read. I want to stay in this flow, but I feel like this flow is kind of a little bit, the message is a little, I don't want to say off, but it just seems like there's something afoot that we need to it's not adaptation. It's like, we know who we are. We know what we've been through. We're secure and solid in that, and we're willing to defend that or hold that stance. But we also need to embrace what is going on and allow it to be what it is, even if it feels withdrawn, pulled back, stunted. If it's not coming out, how do I want to say this? If it's not coming out the way we have it pictured in our head, that's okay. Let it be. Yesterday's grounding stone was forgive. So if there's something going on that, things are starting to turn in a way that look unexpected, or don't feel quite right, or don't feel as smooth as we were expecting, that's okay. Forgive it, embrace it, and kind of, believe that everybody has, or every situation has, its own sort of spiritual truth and purpose and path to it. That's also some of the wisdom of the Nine of Wands, is that everything that we've gone through thus far has served a purpose and taught us something, right? And we can use it to our advantage at some point. So by all means, I don't feel like this is like, oh my God, danger Will Robinson, but I do feel like it is a test of patience. And it's interesting to me, as I say patience, and I look at the fire energy of the 7 and the 9 of Wands, we might be a little bit on like a a match burning at both ends, but we need to be patient and be steady in our spirit and what we know and the sacred, and embrace that, and then allow that to be our guide as we watch things work their way out. That's the key here. This 4-2-10 combination is the stain that I was talking about in the Sunday reading that needs to be washed out. That is your reading. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.